All right, a very good morning to everyone. The Second Region Child Protection Court Number 1, Chambers County, is now in session. We are proceeding this morning virtually by agreement and pursuant to Texas Government Code Sections 24.017 and 74.094. Department of Family and Protective Services versus Cynthia Vasquez. All right, Ms. Vasquez, if you will simply unmute again. I know you're there, but go ahead and announce your appearance, please. And we have Ms. Trousdale and Ms. Iverson as well.
She says she's muted. I told her to press *6.
Yes, *6.
Okay, can y'all hear me now?
Okay, very good.
Can y'all hear me now?
You are Cynthia Vasquez?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much. Ms. Dick, is this agreed or contested?
I believe it's contested, Your Honor.
Okay, is that your understanding, Ms. Trousdale?
Judge, not necessarily. I've not had much time to talk to my client, but I will say she's it's probably going to be agreed. She's on her way to rehab now. CPS transporter is taking her. That's why she's on the phone.
Okay, all right. Do you want to hear exactly for what the department is asking? And then,
yes, sir.
And then maybe I can place you and Ms. Vasquez in a breakout room.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so let me go ahead and get everyone sworn in. So Ms. Vasquez and everyone else who may testify, go ahead and raise your right hands at this time to be sworn. Yes?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
All right, that is everyone. So Ms. Dick, you want to call your client. Let's just hear what the department is asking the mother be ordered to do, and then we'll take a brief recess and let the mother confer with her counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to call Ms. Bynum, all right? And you are the caseworker on this case?
Yes, ma'am. I'm an FBSS caseworker working with Ms. Vasquez.
All right. And are we asking for Ms. Vasquez to go into rehab at this time, today?
Yes, ma'am. And that has been the goal for a while. And she did decide yesterday and got a bed yesterday. So she is on her way as we speak to rehab in Waco, Texas.
All right. And are we also asking for other services for the family, for the father?
We haven't determined what services are necessary. He just took a hair follicle and UA test for us yesterday. We're waiting on the results of that to determine what is needed. He has already taken a parenting class. So at this time, that's all that we are asking until the drug test results are back.
All right.
Ms. Dick, let me interrupt you. I do not show that the department has pled him.
All right.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong.
That may be correct. This is a newer developing issue.
All right. So at this point, he's cooperating.
Yes.
I
just wanted to.
At this point for him.
I beg your pardon?
No need of an order at this point for him.
I think the only question is whether he can have access to the child during the time that we're waiting for the results.
Well, you may continue with your questioning of Ms.
All right. Ms. Bynum, is the department asking that access to the child be restricted in any way, or that the father be asked to wear protective clothing?
As I said, we're waiting on the drug test results, but because we are aware that he has been in contact with Ms. Vasquez and she's openly admitted to her use, that he should refrain from being in contact with the child at this time.
And Ms. Vasquez has
Yes.
openly admitted to her use of what drug?
fentanyl.
Judge, I'm going to object to hearsay unless, I'm sorry, were you asking something that she said directly to Ms.
My,
Bynum?
my understanding is that she was.
Okay.
I,
sorry.
oh, go ahead.
Okay, and Ms. Bynum, is this an admission that Ms. Vasquez made directly to you?
Yes, ma'am. I'm in a conversation that we had on Monday.
Okay, thank you. All right, so are we simply asking the court to ask that the father not have physical or in-person contact with the child until his drug test results are released, and we can determine what the situation might be?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, so what else, if anything, is the department asking that the mother be ordered to do besides inpatient?
Are we asking her to do parenting, Ms. Bynum?
Yes, we would like a parenting class. We would like to ensure that she's going to follow through with rehab. And we would like to determine what services she will receive in rehab. And if counseling and those sorts of things aren't addressed in rehab, we would like to ensure that she does have counseling for substance abuse, of course, which she will have there, but other services that may seem necessary. Like to ensure that she's going to continue with NA services after rehab and can continue to test negative after rehab.
All right. Are we requesting a psychological if one is not done during rehab?
Yes, ma'am. And we had previously requested a psychosocial, but she did submit to that. However, she didn't follow through with the drug assessment that included the psychosocial when she had that.
Okay, so she did a psychosocial, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, but she didn't do the substance abuse counseling, which was recommended, or substance abuse assessment?
Right. She did the substance abuse assessment, which included the psychosocial, and she was recommended for services. However, she only completed 2 sessions. And so technically she didn't complete the substance abuse program. So that will be addressed in rehab. We had asked that she do a psychological, which she was scheduled for, but she didn't follow through with that. So if that's not done in rehab, we would like to have that done.
All right. And are we asking for a release of information on these from these services? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. No further questions. I'll pass witness.
Okay. Ms. Bynum, did the psychosocial that the mother completed, did it recommend a psychological?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, so what is the department's basis then for requesting a psychological?
That was in the family plan of service that was previously presented to her. As I said, she did agree to that and had signed up for it, but she didn't follow through once it was scheduled.
Okay, so then why was it a part of her, in notwithstanding her agreement to do it, why was it a part of her service plan if it were not recommended by the psychosocial?
I'm not exactly sure how to answer that, Your Honor. I would have to do a little more research to determine that.
Well, other than it would be nice to have, why are you asking me to order her to submit to a psychological?
Um, she had stated, and I'm referring back to the Family Plaintiff Service, she had stated that she has moments of anxiety and depression and that she'd never been officially diagnosed with that. So the agency had asked at that time for the psychological assessment to see further if there were issues there that needed to be addressed.
Okay. And you said that that's something, no, just a
May I
moment.
speak or no? Okay,
Not
go
yet,
ahead.
not
Sorry.
yet, yet. Um,
Okay.
so you're saying then, Ms. Bynum, the mother agreed to do that, but she's not followed through or not gone yet?
Correct. She did schedule it. However, she didn't follow through with the scheduling.
All right, but she's on her way to rehab as we speak, is your understanding, correct?
Yes, sir. She is. Our transport driver is with her now. They're on their way. She has a bed ready for her today at 12 o'clock.
All right, in Waco. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. So anything else for which the department is asking that the mother be ordered to do? Because I'm going to see if Ms. Trousdale and or Ms. Iverson has any questions. Then I'm going to give Ms. Trousdale and Ms. Vasquez a moment to meet. Anything else, Ms. Bynum?
No, sir. I believe that's it. And I feel sure she'll probably have most of these issues addressed in rehab.
Okay, I would think, but a psychological parenting, inpatient counseling, subsequent to rehab, NA and AA, and random drug testing and release of the information from the providers.
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. Ms. Trousdale and or Ms. Iverson, do you all have any questions of Ms. Bynum at this point?
Yes, or briefly, if I may.
Yes, of course.
Ms. Bynum, both these parents are 18 years old, correct?
I beg your pardon?
Both of these parents are 18 years old, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, and the father is not named in this case, right?
He is working with me at this time in the FBSS case. Yes.
But he doesn't, he's not obligated to in any way, right?
No, he was the non-offending parent.
Is he aware that he's not obligated? To your knowledge?
Not to my knowledge. He's been very cooperative and understands the situation. And as I said earlier, he's agreed to drug test given the circumstances.
And where is this child placed right now?
I'm having a hard time understanding you. Did you ask where she's placed?
Yes, ma'am. Is it too
Yes,
quiet?
the child.
Okay. Okay.
It's a little muffled, but I understand. Right now, the child, Celeste, is with the paternal grandmother, Miss Nichols, and she's been in the home with Miss Nichols and her family. And the parents originally, until this test, the parents were both living there. So Miss April, Miss Nichols has been the caregiver throughout Celeste's life.
And so she didn't have to be moved. She was already in the home she's in now.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. She's not been moved. She's very comfortable in that home. Miss Nichols provides wonderful care for her.
Okay. And she's in for the long haul if need be. One way or the other, she's going to stand by this child, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Definitely.
And obviously no concerns whatsoever with that placement, right?
No, ma'am, there are no concerns. I visited in the homes several times. Miss Nichols does a wonderful job with Celeste, and they are very well bonded.
Thank you. I pass the witness.
All right, thank you. And Ms. Bynum, I know that he is present, but what is the father's name?
Marcos Carell.
All right, thank you. Okay, Ms. Trousdale, do you have any questions at this point of Ms. Bynum? Otherwise, I'll let you and your client meet and see if this is agreed or contested.
Just with regards to my client's access to the baby, Miss Bynum, this child is, I think if I remember correctly, 7 months old or about that.
I believe she's 9 months old now. She was born in August.
Okay. And the paternal grandparents have her, and they live in the Anahuac area, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is there a plan in place to give mom access to the baby while she's in rehab?
We have not developed a plan at this time. Of course, we feel it would be wonderful for mom to see her child. However, with fentanyl as the issue, as everyone knows, that drug is extremely dangerous. So that's the reason for the safety.
Sure. But will the department do what they can to allow mom access to this baby while she's in rehab if it's determined it's safe?
I believe that would be open for discussion. I would have to refer to my upper management for that to take place.
Okay. And the program that she's going into, if you know, do you know how long that program is?
No, it starts with detox, and I think it's determined after that. But normally, in my experience, it's a minimum of 30 days.
Sure. Okay. Thank you, Judge. I think that's enough for me to talk to my client.
Okay. All right. Very good. We will take a recess then. Let me see if Ms. Dick has any redirect of Ms. Bynum before we take our recess for you to meet with your client.
No redirect this time. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. So, Ms. Trousdale, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
No, I think, Judge, I just think five minutes should be good.
Okay. All right. So I will, I'll get both of you in the same virtual meeting room, and I'll close it out. Once you all are in, I'll start the timer and then close it out. Ms. Vasquez, you'll have to do the same thing as you did before to accept the invitation. All right, I believe we have Ms. Trousdale and her client, Ms. Vasquez, back, returning to cause number 24DC. All right, with that, Ms. Trousdale, is this agreed or contested?
It's agreed as to finishing the inpatient rehab and a parenting class. The only thing I don't agree to is the psychological evaluation.
All right, and so, Ms. Dick, if that is something that the department is asking me to order, I'll need to hear evidence further on that issue.
All right, Your Honor. I think if it's not done in rehab, then we may still be asking for that, and I can ask Ms. Bynum to just give additional evidence on that issue.
Are you asking me that at this time?
Hold on, sorry.
So to be clear, is this something for which the department pled? I don't have that part of the pleadings in front of me.
I don't think we
I don't,
specifically pled for that. Let me look.
no, I didn't see it in there.
Yes, it is in the conclusion, item 6 of the conclusion. It states, due to the undiagnosed mental health issues, it should be addressed in completing a psychological evaluation and follow the recommendations. In item 6 of the affidavit.
No, it's not, but it's not pled in the pleadings in front of them, in the petition.
Okay.
All right. And Ms. Bynum, is our concern that the psychosocial, and correct me if I'm wrong, was not completed? Is that
The
correct?
psychosocial was completed, and I apologize that I don't have that in front of me to state exactly what the recommendations were. However, through our family strengths and needs assessment, when we first assessed Ms. Vasquez, she stated made different statements about being stressed out, and she falls behind on things, and she has moments of anxiety and depression. Although she hasn't been diagnosed with it, she went on to say that she feels sad at times, and
Object to hearsay unless my client said this specifically to Ms. Bynum. My understanding is there's been a couple of different caseworkers.
Ms. Bynum, is this something that the mother directly told you?
no, sir. I've
Now,
gotten this information from the case file.
Okay. All right. Any other questions, Ms. Dick, of Ms. Bynum?
All right. Is it normal to ask for a psychological evaluation if there are concerns regarding undiagnosed mental health issues in the case?
Yes, ma'am. And that is part of our assessment, the beginning assessment when we meet with the client for the first time, is to do an assessment. And when mental health issues are an issue, then that is what we address first through a psychological.
All right. And at Ms. Vasquez's age, are there concerns that these issues are coming up and she may be addressing them through her drug use?
Objection,
I would have to say
speculation.
that's a possibility.
Sustained.
Overall, when did we begin this case?
It came to FBSS in October.
All right. So we've been trying to work with the mother since October of 2023. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And she's not been able to complete the services that we've offered to her. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And she has made a recent admission of continued drug use, specifically of
Judge,
fentanyl. Is that correct?
Judge, I'm going to object to relevance. We've agreed to participate, court order participation in services, and she's
Sustained.
All right. No other questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
Ms. Bynum.
Okay.
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead. No, go ahead, Ms. Strauss. Thank you.
And I believe you've already stated that she did complete the psychosocial eval, correct, or assessment, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I'm not asking you what the recommendations are, but do you know if the department has received the recommendations back from that assessment?
Yes, they have. I just don't have that right here with me, and I'm so sorry I don't.
That's okay. That's okay. I wouldn't want you to read them into the record anyway. But can you provide me today or tomorrow with a copy of those recommendations?
Yes, I certainly can.
Okay. And when a parent does a psychosocial assessment, if the department has not already recommended a psychological, if the psychosocial recommends it, at that time, do you generally come in and ask them to follow that recommendation?
Yes, ma'am. And that's part of what they agreed to when they agreed to an assessment, a
No.
substance abuse assessment in the psychosocial.
Okay. So in addition to her doing this inpatient rehab, you're asking that she successfully complete the rehab and successfully complete a parenting class, and she's already done the psychosocial assessment. You're asking her to follow those recommendations from the psychosocial?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. I'll pass the witness.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Iverson.
I don't have any further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other questions or witnesses, Ms. Dick?
I would like to call Miss April Nichols, the grandmother, all right? And you're the grandmother in this case, correct? The paternal grandmother.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And the child is currently living with you.
Yes, ma'am.
And how long has she been there?
Since she came home from the hospital.
Okay. And at this point in time, your son is not living in the home, correct?
He is at this point.
So he's still living there.
Yes, ma'am.
And
I was told until his drug test came back. No, I've asked, was he supposed to move out, but they say he didn't have to yet. But anybody tells me he has to move out, then that's what'll happen.
All right. And do you currently have concerns that he might be using drugs?
I don't have any concerns, but I would like to know.
All right. If he is using drugs, specifically fentanyl, would you want him to have contact with the baby?
Oh, no, ma'am, and no contact with my home either. I have two other children as well, that go to school. I wouldn't want to be around it. So, that's why I want to know.
Do you think, given his relationship with the mother, that it is realistic that he's not doing drugs at this point in time?
It's always a thought and a question. I do wonder. I don't see it. I don't have proof of it, but this whole case and situation is weird.
Do they spend a lot of time together?
Right now she's not at my house. She's not allowed over.
Sure.
But I'm sure that they do see each other outside of my home. So to my knowledge, yes, they do see each other and spend time.
All right. So
does he do it? I don't know. Not to my knowledge, but I don't know. I don't follow him. I don't know I can't, I'm busy with Celeste and I have a lot of things to do. So I can't tell you what he does. I don't think he does, but I can't say for sure.
Thank you. But he has been spending his time with the mother, correct?
I don't know how much time. I can't tell you, confirm that. I don't know.
Do they see each other daily?
Probably they do. I'm not for sure. Because I know he goes and works and wherever else he goes on his time, I'm not for sure.
Where is he currently working?
He does side jobs with his cousins they do, when they get bids, construction bids and stuff, they go build porches and just different things like that.
Okay. If he, so until we know from the drug test whether he has been using or not, would it be safest to not have him around Celeste?
Oh, yes. Yes, ma'am.
And would he have?
And she doesn't get out, Celeste does not get out of my sight, period. Like, she's with me every moment. So I don't worry about her having any contact with anything or nothing like that. And Celeste does not get out of my sight, period. Like,
All right, I think we're having some feedback there, but based on the fentanyl can be easily transferred. Do you understand?
yes, ma'am. And I have no problem with that, with having him not live in the home, like leaving today. That's totally fine with me. I'll set that rule today, and he'll, you know, he can go today, even without me knowing, you know, if he is or if he isn't, because my priority is the baby.
Thank you. All right. So if CPS asks that he be out of the home until the testing is completed, you would agree to that?
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
All right. And that would include no visitation at this during the short period of time until we know.
Yes, ma'am, for sure.
And if the test were to be positive, do you understand that we'd have to address visitation, future visitation at that point, and lay out a plan where possibly he would have protective clothing, that sort of thing?
Yes, ma'am. Anything that has to be done, that's what I'm here for.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you. No further questions. I'll pass the witness. No further questions at this point in time. I'll pass the witness. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Trousdale.
Thank you, Judge. If it's possible for Cynthia to have virtual visits with the baby while she's in rehab, are you willing to make Celeste available for that?
Yes, ma'am. I will.
Do you have regular contact with Cynthia? Do you have any contact with her, rather?
Do I have any contact with her? Yeah, I have her. We have each other's phone number, and we're able to FaceTime. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you live in the Anahuac area, is that correct?
I do. Yes, ma'am.
And prior to this case, was Cynthia residing in your home with the baby and your son?
Prior to the case, no. Before she was pregnant, no, ma'am. She did visit, but she didn't live. We had made an agreement after the baby was born with the CPS that they allow her to, and I agreed with it, that she could live here so that she could be around and bond with the baby.
Okay.
With my supervision.
So how long did Cynthia reside in your home?
Since the baby came home, and it was always under my supervision for her being around the baby.
Okay. Thank you. I pass the witness.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Iverson.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. Since the department's involvement, I understand that mom's access was restricted in terms of it had to be supervised. But in terms of time, was it restricted at all, or was it just unlimited?
Yeah, it was restricted, like it was at all times that
Okay, unrestricted then.
no, like I was never allowed to leave her alone.
Okay, so it was supervised, but in terms of time, it was not restricted, was your understanding?
Right. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It could be 7 days a
And
week, day or night, just as long as I was there.
so on an average day, how much time approximately would mom exercise the right to see her baby during that time?
It would vary, depending if she's at work, because she did work or was asleep, or if I was gone or whatever. I don't know. Times were different. Some days could be a lot more hours or time than the other days. So, I'm not
So let's
sure
say
how
on
to
average
answer that.
let's say on average per week then, approximately. How much time would she spend with the baby?
She's in the house, so she would spend about, oh, I don't know, about 15 hours, I guess, or 20. I don't know.
Okay. Has your son given you any reason? I know you don't have any evidence and you don't know, but has he given you any reason to suspect that he is using right now?
No, other than one can just use your common sense and say if I mean, just because you hang out with somebody that's using doesn't mean you use, but at the same time, you can't be naive and say, well, you use, but you don't. You always got to question it. That's just my take on that.
Birds of a feather, as they say.
Yeah.
And what are the ages of your other children who reside in the home?
14 and 16.
And are there any needs that Celeste has at this point that are not being met?
Oh no, she's great. I take care of everything she needs.
Thank you for that. I'll pass the witness.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you. Back to you, Ms. Dick. Any other questions or witnesses?
No other questions and no other witnesses, Your Honor, at this time.
All right, thank you. Ms. Trousdale, you may call your first.
Yes, I'd like to call my client. I just called you by your daughter's name. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Okay, Cynthia, you are on your way to rehab, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and you're being transported by CPS worker, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And do you know how long the program is that you're going into?
I was told by Miss Ronda that depends on me. Rehabs usually keep you for 30 to 35 days.
Okay. If there's a recommendation that you stay in there for at least 30 days, are you willing to do that?
Yes.
Okay. Do you understand there's no guarantee that you'll be able to have in-person visits with your daughter? It may happen, but it's just not guaranteed. Do you understand that?
I do.
Okay. If in-person visits are not permitted by the facility, are you asking that you be able to have virtual visits with your daughter so you can at least see her sweet little face a couple times?
Yes, of course.
Okay. And you understand that when you go into rehab, they'll probably have other services available to you other than just drug counseling, like parenting classes?
Correct.
Okay. And you understand that the department is asking that you complete a parenting class, whether it's offered at this facility or not?
Yes, I do, and we have already completed one as well. That is another course that I did complete.
Okay. And where did you do that course?
They had us do it online, It was 24 different tasks for one parent course. And they each had 10 to 15 questions per course or per task in the course. And we finished it by the date that was asked.
Okay, and when you say they asked us to, are you talking about the department?
Yes, correct.
Okay, and the department provided the website for you to take that parenting class?
Correct.
And did you get any type of certificate of completion or confirmation email that you had completed it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you make that available to Ms. Bynum or whoever your caseworker was at the time?
Yes, and they never asked about it again whenever Ms. Bynum became the new worker after the previous one I had. Never asked about if it was completed or anything, but we did.
Okay, and you, to the best of your knowledge, you've completed a psychosocial assessment?
I don't know if it's called an assessment. I did speak on the phone with them. Yes, I did, but not an actual, whatever it is they do that she said I missed. But I did speak on the phone with them.
Do you remember who you spoke with?
It was, her name was Sharon from that, wherever the places she worked.
Okay. Her name, do you recall when that was?
I do not recall exactly when. It was before Ms. Bynum came to our case.
Okay. Do you know, was that Kings Haven or?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So you spoke with them on the phone, but you haven't gone in person for any type of evaluation or assessment, is that right?
They did not ask for an in-person thing. I think it was supposed to be online or over the phone. I am not sure.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's fine. And so, but you did speak to someone on the phone and answered their questions and provided the information they requested, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you understand there may be some recommendations from that assessment?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Have you received a copy of any recommendations?
No, ma'am. Well, out on paper for our, what it is I am asked, I have papers that they have given me, but I don't know specifically if it says for the psychological or not.
Okay. Okay. And do you have any mental health diagnosis? So in the past, have you ever been diagnosed with depression,
No,
bipolar? Okay. So you understand what's being asked of you today. The department is asking that the court order you to participate in the services. Do you understand that?
Correct.
And
Correct.
you are agreeing today to participate and complete the inpatient rehab, a parenting class if it's not already been completed, and the psychosocial evaluation if that hasn't already been completed. Those are the three things you're agreeing to participate in, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you believe the psychosocial was done over the phone and the parenting class is complete?
Yes, correct.
Okay. I pass the witness.
All right, thank you, Ms. Iverson.
Briefly, Cynthia, do you have any objection to the child residing where she currently does with her grandmother?
Can you repeat that, please?
Do you have any objections to Celeste remaining in her grandmother's care?
No, I do not.
Pass the witness.
All right, thank you, Ms. Dick.
Okay, and Ms. Vasquez, if the psychosocial recommends the psychological, will you complete that as well?
if they recommend it, the thing about that is I've had previous caseworkers before Miss Bynum, and they have a packet they have you answer questions on about yourself, how you feel with your child, about your child, everything like that. I never stated I am depressed and I have anxiety. Now, like I said, I've had multiple caseworkers. The caseworker that did the packet with me was, I answered her questions, and then I had another one, a new one, and that caseworker had came in there one visit and stated out loud that they said that I had depression and anxiety. The questions that are asked have to do with emotions through this and everything like that. I did state that I do get upset about things that are going through. This is an emotional process, especially for me not being able to be around my daughter without supervision, all that stuff. So, of course, I'm going to be upset about things. I did say things can upset me. They asked if I ever get stressed. Yes, I get stressed, normal human emotions, but I wouldn't say I have depression or anxiety. Now, with everything going on, yes, I do have different emotions through it. And the thing with that is I told the caseworker that had stated that out loud that I never said I had depression and anxiety. But if you want to take me being upset sometimes during the situation with everything going on or stressed, then I don't know if you could call it me saying that, because, yes, I have different emotions, like I said. But I told her that I never stated depression and anxiety specifically, and she noted on her tablet that she would let them know that. I am not sure what happened after that or anything like that.
All right. And you understand that during the course of treatment that you'll be asked to address any underlying emotions that might be affecting or
Yes,
triggering your drug use.
yes, I understand that.
Okay. And you've been living apart from your daughter since she was born, is that correct? Or when did you actually move out? When did you move out?
That is incorrect. I moved out a day before Miss Bynum came to see me. Well, actually, no, before that, but I'm talking no contact at all. The thing was, I was allowed to move out, but I was allowed visitation. And then when Miss Bynum came in, she had gave me a text, told me she was my new worker. She needed to meet with me. And then at that point, before visiting me, she asked if I don't visit her at all until we talk. And I agreed to that. I said, yes, I would not. I'm not sure what exact date I moved out, but I could look and tell you, because Ms. Bynum was not my caseworker whenever I was asked. She's been my caseworker for about 4 weeks, 3 weeks, I don't know. But I moved out when I was asked. Within 24 hours, they gave me of the next day. And I moved out then when I was asked. But I still was allowed to visit and see Celeste until Miss Bynum came in. Now there is no staying there, no being there.
Okay, and did you do drug testing shortly after Miss Bynum became involved in the case?
No, ma'am. Yes.
Judge, I'm going to object to relevance. My client, again, has agreed
Okay,
to rehab.
I was just trying to clarify a couple of things. No further questions of this witness at this time. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Back to you, Ms. Trousdale.
I don't have anything further.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Iverson.
Nothing, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Bynum, have you been able to locate the results or the recommendations from the psychosocial we've been talking about?
No, sir, not yet. I have got a request into the therapist to get that document.
All right. Okay. Ms. Vasquez, if you can unmute, actually, I believe you still are unmuted. Ms. Vasquez, do you recall when you did the psychosocial? You said by phone.
Yes, sir. I did it by phone. I do not recall the exact date, but I'm sure I could find it if I tried in the, the phone save calls and things.
Can you give me a month?
Yes. They are called King's Haven, correct?
Say that again.
They are, the place is called King's Haven, correct?
That's my understanding.
Okay, that's what I'm searching.
Well, do you have your phone on speaker?
Sir.
If you have your phone on speaker, go ahead and take it off.
Okay, yes, sir. And the month that I would say I to them was in 2023. I would say December or maybe January of 2024.
All right. Do you remember telling them, giving them, relaying to them any information about your mental health, your emotions, or the like?
They did not ask too much into that. The call I had with them, what they told me, it was recommended by CPS, and that to basically schedule a thing with them. They asked me if I had the depression or anything like that, and I told them no. I get upset about things like normal people, but I don't have depression or anxiety, and I never said that to them neither.
Okay. All right. Any other questions, Ms. Trousdale, of Ms. Vasquez?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. So based on the All right. Based on the evidence, the court does approve of the parties' agreement for the mother to take parenting classes, and she shall not be required to repeat them if she can provide proof that she has done that. The evidence has been that she might very well have completed that, so she'll just need to demonstrate and also to provide proof of that. She is also ordered to follow any and all recommendations of the aforementioned psychosocial, to submit to inpatient rehab, also to provide releases from the service providers. Additionally, the court is, based on the evidence, the court is hereby going to order a psychological evaluation anytime the court hears of a parent, especially a parent who's 18 years old and a brand new parent taking fentanyl, it causes me to shudder. And Ms. Vasquez, I don't know what you know of that drug. I assume you're on, you have a phone and you're on perhaps social media. I cannot have you be a picture on a billboard. This is just too serious. The fact that the mother has not been able to be the primary caregiver of her child. I don't know the reasons for behind your drug use, whether it's peer pressure or curiosity or self-medication or something else. But I have great pause when it comes to fentanyl. So, Ms. Vasquez, I am going to order you to submit to a full psychological evaluation and follow any and all recommendations of that. And I do that for your own good and for that of Celeste's mother. I could not be more encouraged and more proud and more pleased with the fact that you're on your way to rehab. And so do whatever it takes, ma'am, please, to get clean and so and into recovery and stay there. Do whatever it takes.
Yes, sir.
The court. So when we come back to court for your compliance hearing, it will be on July the 1st. July the 1st. Now, you may have successfully completed rehab by then. I don't know. If they recommend that you stay a little longer, I would encourage you. To do that.
Yes, of course.
We want to be there for you. We believe in you. You are not alone. And again, I'm very encouraged that you're on your way to rehab. So please make the most of it. It's going to get harder before it gets better, but it will get better. It will get better. You'll see your life.
Yes, sir.
And the
Thank
life
you.
of your. Now, if you're still in rehab and you have court, you're certainly approved to appear virtually. In fact, that would be wonderful. So I am going to order that if possible, that Ms. Nichols, that the mother be afforded daily FaceTime contact with the child for about 5 to 10 minutes, at least. Okay.
Yes, sir. She knows I will.
Okay. And so the court further orders, Ms. Dick, and I make this order for the safety of the child pursuant to Texas Family Code, Chapter 105, that if anyone who is in Ms. Nichols' home tests positive for methamphetamine and or fentanyl, that person may no longer live in that home where we obviously have a PCSP, and 2, that if that person is to visit with the child, they shall wear full PPEs. All right, gloves, masks, long pants, long sleeves. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Okay, Mom, you can do this. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
very, very, very proud of you and very encouraged at this point. So again, our compliance hearing next July the 1st at 9. And so I will sign an order. I will sign an order that comports with my condition today. Anything else from anyone else? Ms. Dick, Ms. Anderson, Ms. Trousdale?
No, Your Honor,
sir.
thank you.
Okay. Well, I thank you all very much. Ms. Nichols, we cannot thank you enough for all that you have done and all that you're going to do. We would encourage, though he's not part of the suit per se, we would encourage Mr. Curiel to continue cooperating with the department and doing whatever it takes to get into recovery and to stay there. Okay. So I assure you that you all are worth it, and moreover that Celeste is worth it. And so,
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
so all right. With that, having reset and continued the Mooney case, I believe that concludes the docket, Ms. Dick.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Right. So you all have a wonderful rest of the week. We'll see some of you, I guess, virtually Friday.
All right, thank you.
Thank you all
you.
very much.